What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
My stomach is all messed up because went out last night to watch the game and I just ate appetizers and booze and just not great. Not great. But
but
besides that, doing great.
yeah, but what a game it was!
Oh
What
my
a great
gosh.
game. You know what? Let's just get right into it,
Let's jump
Casino.
into that one. All right.
Last night, game one, Stanley Cup finals between our Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Just thoughts on this game that ended up, giving the Knights home ice advantage.
It was
They
go for it. Finish what
no
you were
no
gonna say.
no, go ahead.
It was it was one of the better game ones I have seen in a very long time. And I know that sounds silly because it was a high scoring game, this and that. A lot of people graded both teams pretty poorly. There was a lot of mistakes, but that's what you expect. High scoring. If teams are going to make mistakes, the good teams are going to make you get punished, right? They're going to punish you for making mistakes. And that showed last night. It was 5-4. That is a very high scoring game, especially for a Stanley Cup game one because they're feeling each other out. Typically people like to play a little more conservative in game one just to try to get a set for things, but that was not the case. Yeah, it was so great. I mean, coming out, Ehlers for the Canes scored their first two, scored the first one in like 30 seconds. That place was going nuts. I had to go. We went to a place to where you could watch the game, and they have local hockey rinks there as well. So me and my daughter were watching that. And then I was like, oh, the game started. Let's go. By the time we got back to the seat, they had already scored one. And it was fun. It was really fun, high energy, back and forth, a lot of ties, a lot of lead changes. It was a really good game. Even though if you watched it and you understand hockey, it was very sloppy. It was still a very fun, entertaining game.
Yeah. And also the score ended up being 5-4. None of those goals were scored on power plays, which
Yeah.
is crazy. That's
So
insane.
you know what's crazy though? So the Hurricanes 52-56. So they have killed off 52 power plays. Their penalty kill is absolutely elite right now. They've only allowed four in the postseason. Like that's just wild.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, so after you saw this game, Casino, me and you were texting about it afterwards, and you said that both of these teams are extremely even.
Oh
So
god.
based on game one, why would you say it's even? Before the series started, you thought it went 6. After game one, do you still think it goes 6? Do you think it goes 7? Or do you think this could potentially be
No,
a
I
sweep?
still think it goes 6. I still think it goes 6. And the top lines for both teams were pretty much taken care of, right? It was fairly even of them kind of taking people out. There was a couple assists here and there, but for the most part, it's going to sound funny. The defense, they were playing offense. Like they were not really stopping anything. But I mean, for the Golden Knights alone, Brady McNabb, he had 3 assists. Shea Theodore, he had a goal and 2 assists. And then going over into Carolina, they were all over the place there. Chatfield, he had 2 assists. You had a goal. You also had Slavin had an assist. Miller had an assist. Like it was defense heavy in the sense of they're scoring goals and they're making assists. It was a really fun game. But this team, both these teams are very well balanced when it comes to their whole team. I think Vegas's top 6 actually have a better, more star-studded top 6, and that's saying something because you have over in Carolina, you have Hall. Oh, sorry. Aho, you have Carrier, you have Ehlers, or Ehlers, not Ehlers. They're stacked as well. So it was very fun to watch. And the reason why it just came out the way it was is I just think Vegas has a better defense all the way through. And that's what showed up. And then, again, on the scoring chance, Shea Theodore's been doing it for 9 years for Vegas, just sniping it out from out top. It's just great. So when you watched it, what did you think? I want to know your opinion.
Well, I agree with the even. I will say the thing that stuck out to me when I was watching it is, what is it? The face off against each other. They were 50-50. Like shots on goal, the score was 3-3 and they both only had like 16 shots on goal. So it
Yeah.
was those things where when you were watching it, you were like, oh, these goals aren't like deflecting in. They're not like power play goals. They were just straight up slap shots from really well designed plays from both teams. So it was one of
Or
those things.
taking advantage, yeah, so that or just taking advantage of the like the mistakes. The
Yeah.
second goal that the Carolina Hurricanes scored was off of a turnover by Jack Eichel in the neutral zone. He tried to uh, cross it to the other side of the neutral zone and just got picked off. And it was an easy one pass all the way down, wide open, and Ehlers just took it to the house. So yeah, little mistakes, and then the other, it was either little mistakes that the team capitalized on, or it was just a really good design set play. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I loved it. I mean, I was all over the place. Even if the Knights lost, that was one of the better game ones. Not just because it was high scoring, it was just nobody felt out of that game. Nobody felt out of that game.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
yeah, it's just I loved every second of it. It was fun. It was high pace. Moving forward, I do think the Knights will take this, and it is the X factor, in my opinion, is going to be coaching. Um, and I think a lot of people with John Tortorella, a lot of people think that he's like past his time, just because he kind of has been hopping from team to team over the last few years. But it doesn't matter. Like the dude knows how to win. He knows how to spark a team. When you have a good roster like Vegas does, the right coach comes in and fixes it, right? So that's what happened when Vegas 3 years ago, when they had the right team, 4 years ago, the right team. And what did they do? They brought in a coach that couldn't fix that team. That was the missing piece with Bruce Cassidy. And then as time got on, they got new players and just the locker room wasn't feeling him. And then they had to adjust. Um, I'm yeah, I'm really excited to see how this game. There's not going to be a sweep. If there is a sweep, then Golden Knights deserve every single goddamn second of praise. Um, and John Tortorella just right off in the sunset, retire a champion. But um, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more offensive power from, and I say obviously it's 5-4 offensive power with the top lines. Um, and what I liked about Vegas is in this game is it was very well spread out. Barbashev, he had one goal. Eichel had an assist. Tomas Hertl had a goal. Howden had a goal and an assist. Carlson had a goal. Marner, Sisson, Smith all had assists. McNabb had 3 assists, and then Shea had 1 and then 2 assists. And then with Carolina, it was a little bit more packed, right? A little more packed. Chetfield, he had 2 assists. Like we talked about, Ellers, he had the 2 goals. But it really, and Stahl had 1 goal, but he didn't have any assists, and it kind of came down to the defensemen to set up a lot of those plays there. But it was still very fun, very entertaining, but it was spread out. And this is what I was saying about going into the finals, was they are both very well-rounded teams. I just think 4 good lines, like you have 2 great lines, and then you have 2 really good lines with Vegas, that the depth is just insane. The depth is insane with those teams, or with that team. That I that's why I have Vegas winning it now. I have Vegas winning it now. I know I originally said Hurricanes, but man, John Tortorella, he really has turned this team around. I'm very excited. This does, though, with that high scoring game. Frederick Anderson, the goalie for the Canes, he was currently sitting. He still is sitting second for the Conn Smythe, which is the best player in the postseason. But I don't see him getting that after that 5 goals against. That really hurt his average. And I know Mitch Marner didn't really do anything, but it's still, and that's why it hasn't really changed too much for the Conn Smythe. But yeah, Marner, I think he's still going to get it. I think he's still going to get it, because if Vegas can pepper the hell out of Frederick Anderson at least one more game, just one more game, have another 4 goal game, Anderson's not going to get it unless he somehow wins it. And then even then, I think it would go to like Tyler Hall or something.
Well, also, what is it? I've seen because obviously the Golden Knights are like the most hated NHL team, right?
Yeah,
It's not even a
they're the
question.
Empire.
Yeah. So and people keep saying like, "Oh, this team shouldn't have been there. This team got lucky in the playoffs, all that kind of stuff, despite everything they've done because they were only a
Yeah, the
39
pillow fight
win
conference.
regular season team." Yeah. So what I do not understand is
Mm,
the Golden
filthy
Knights
division.
now have played the Carolina Hurricanes 3 times. Right? 3 times this entire season. In those 3 games, they scored 4, 6, and last night they scored 5. And the 6 and 4 games were before they made the coaching change to begin with. So
Mhm,
it's like we see it every year, every time in sports. We saw it in the NBA when it was Spurs Thunder. We were like, no matter how good the Thunder are, the Spurs have just had their number the entire regular season. That's going to translate to the playoffs. That's exactly what happened. So people bitching that, oh, the Vegas team didn't even have 40 wins this season. The Hurricanes were top of their division, all
mhm.
that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, but sometimes teams just have the other team's number. And
He just
if you've
matched up
played,
well against them.
yeah, if you've played 3 times and the other team's 3-0, why does the win loss record against other teams matter? Because you're 3-0, and last night, apparently the Hurricanes are the much better team, and the Knights had no problem going up and down the ice on them. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
and something
I
that
don't
I'm
know.
really excited to hear about from John, Tortorella is that yeah, we're on first name basis, John, that guy. Uh, is so they asked him a question about, you know, just getting the split, right? Getting the split on the road and then coming back and then trying to defend your home. He doesn't want to do that. He said it during the Ducks series that he wants to go and even the Avs, like he said it all the way back to the Ducks series, but he doesn't care. And it showed against the Avs. He does not want to settle for a split on the road. He wants that team to step on the throat. He wants that team, hopefully not with the ice skates in. It's not, but anyway, he really wants that team to just be aggressive because they have that offensive firepower. You saw it last night, and most of that, 4 of those assists were all from defensemen. So they want that in your face kind of hockey, and he doesn't want to go home 1-1. He wants to go home 2-0. He's making that a perfect. He does not want to settle. He does not want to be like, okay, let's take it back a little bit. Let's figure the team out. He wants them to press, and he wants them. He's going to be upset if they go back 1-1. He wants 2-0, and I like that mentality. I like that mindset. It works with this team. So I'm really excited. I am going. I already have plans to watch game 2. I already have plans to watch game 3. I am stoked. What are you doing Saturday night?
Well, Saturday night I'm working, but Thursday night I'm
Boo.
not. So Thursday
Well,
night I'm not.
we're
Uh,
probably gonna. I think there's a watch party over here near us, and I think we're gonna probably go to that. Not sure because the wife looked it up, so I haven't confirmed if the watch party is happening there. So I gotta check that. But there's watch parties all over Vegas, so I'm real excited. I'm very very excited.
I'll tell you what, my I was at work last night. My work is not one of those what is it? One of the like a sports bar or anything like that. We had the sound up, the bar was crowded, like the employees, we were dead. So the employees and like customers were just watching. I mean, pretty much the entire like also no, I'll circle back to this. What is it? We watched pretty much the whole third period uninterrupted, and people were losing their minds and all that kind of stuff. But did you know? So I didn't work yesterday till 6, which already it was a period in by 6 o'clock, West Coast time. Did you know that DirecTV is having a
The
dispute
ABC
with yeah,
conflict.
ABC. So when I walked in, they were like, "We can't get the game on the TV," and I was watching it on Disney Plus at home, and then Disney Plus on my phone on the way to work. But I was like, "Oh, it's on Disney Plus," and they were like, "How? It's on ABC," and I had to explain the whole ABC on ESPN thing. But when you turn it onto DirecTV onto ABC, whatever channel it is in your area, it literally says, "Oh, sorry, we're in a dispute. You can't watch the Stanley Cup Finals or NBA Finals. Like, call them." It literally says that on the screen. You can't watch the NBA Finals or NHL Finals. Obviously, the Stanley Cup. It's which is so weird. How the hell are cable companies in disputes with anybody? Who the fuck is paying for cable? Like at this point, you only pay cable to watch sports. So if there's no sports because you keep having disputes, how does this not just send people in droves to streaming services?
Yeah.
It makes no
Well,
sense to me.
was it on ESPN then last night? I thought it
No, no,
was.
it was on ABC. But if you go to Disney Plus, they do that like ABC on ESPN
Oh, yeah.
telecast or whatever.
Got it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. What is it? Heather Minchu 8892 says, "What's good, Giddy Gang?" That's cool. Doodoo Dandruff says, "How's it going, you all? Shout out to the Wheaties." So thanks, buddy. Shout out to the Wheaties. But yeah, so out but that was a good game. People at my work were going crazy, employees and customers alike.
Yeah, I
There
went
was
to
this
we
No, go ahead.
we went to 2 places. So we went to a place for dinner, we watched the first 2 periods there, and then we walked down to the street to another place, that was playing it, and it had more games and stuff for the kids. So we were just like, yeah, we'll watch the 3rd period. The kids could play the games and we could watch the game. We had to play the games too, obviously. We couldn't really watch the game. But it was a blast. It was a blast. Both places just absolutely rocking. And it wasn't even just like when they scored, everybody was like, yay. It was like anytime the puck got near the net on either side, it was a it's like the whole gasping of something bad's about to happen or something good's about to happen. And that's why I love hockey. That's why I love soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. Um, I like I like that suspense where you're just constantly on the edge of your seat. Like it doesn't stop, just always on the because like with football, even though I love football, obviously that's our main thing. I love football and I do love baseball, but it's I like to watch it in person, this and that. But there's downtime. There's downtime, right? Even in the
Mhm.
NBA, there's a lot more break. I feel like there's a lot more breaks than in hockey. Not much, but it feels like it to me. And I just like that fast pace, constantly going, always on the edge of your seat kind of situation. So yeah, I just love that suspense and the ooh ahs. Just they get me every time. They get me every time. I get into it.
Yeah. Uh, well, on that note, Casino, let's move over to the other final going on right now, which is the NBA finals that starts tonight. I'll tell you what, I have seen every single, almost like what we saw with the Thunder predictions between the Thunder and Spurs series.
Yeah,
I've seen every single prediction possible for this series. So just right off the top, let's just get our
Spurs in
finals
6.
predictions in. Spurs in 6. Why do you say that?
I think the Spurs have the best player. Still, I know I love Brunson. I think he's playing great, but Wemby is the best player. Wemby is by
Mhm.
far the best player. They have the height, and I just think I know that the Knicks haven't been there since '99, but they the Spurs just I feel like want it more. The city of New York wants it more than I would say the city of San Antonio, but the players themselves, the Spurs have just been shit on so much. And then playing OKC and just the flopping gate and the whole bullshit that they were dealing with there. And to get that victory and to shut them up and to win 2 in OKC, that has them just that fuel, that fire. You saw Wemby after they won game 7. He was losing his mind.
I
I mean,
like it. I know people
I
are
love
like,
it.
this is corny. That shit
No,
gets me going. I
no,
like that stuff.
bullshit. You worked so hard to get there. You worked so hard to get there. He came from France. That's a whole thing. Like he came to another country. It's not like, oh, I just had to move cities. It is what it is. He moved across the world to play this, to be the best, and he wants to be the best. He wants to be the face of the league. And you get that where other players kind of get excited. They're going to the finals or going and they win, a series or whatever. It means more to him. You saw him at the podium. He talked about it. He's like, I want this. I want this so bad. Like he needs it. And this is not me saying that the players over in New York don't want it. I'm sure Jalen Brunson, he has that same feeling. He's not just showing it as much as Wemby is, but I don't know. I just feel like this Spurs team and what they had to deal with, all the bullshit that they had to hear through the whole Western Conference, it means more to them than it does the Knicks. Like the Knicks are happy they got there. Like they're happy they got there. The city's excited because there's a chance for them to win. Obviously, you're gonna have all the New Yorkers saying, "Oh yeah, of course the Knicks are gonna win." Nobody's underestimating. And if they do win, hats off to them, and they shut everybody up. But I have a hard time seeing this super dedicated and super just playing 7 games. Yes, they might be tired, but that's thriving them, right? We've had that debate whether it's you want to play more games and be ready and in the game, or do you want to be rested? I think New York is going to come out a little flat-footed.
Yeah.
I think
Honestly, I do
I
too.
think Wemby's gonna hit like two threes and like 4 dunks in the first, and everybody's gonna be like, oh shit. Like Wemby's got 15 points in the first quarter. Holy shit, we're screwed. We're screwed. And it might be demoralizing.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
calling Spurs in 6.
I also think it's going to most likely be Spurs in 6, but it just seems it's so weird to me that just the discussion being had about this Knicks team, where it's like everybody keeps talking about this Knicks team as if they're what is it like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, which is weird to me because the Spurs are one of the youngest teams to make the NBA Finals ever. I think the youngest in
I mean,
terms of their
this is
starters.
the great joke of Wemby's 16 and still growing. Like
Yeah.
Dr. Locke says that constantly, and I find it hysterical. He's 16 years old and he's still growing. I love it every time.
But yeah, the Spurs have the youngest starting lineup since the 1950s in NBA history.
Dear
That is
Lord. Let's go.
insane. That is
And
insane.
and
And
that puts a point on everybody was like, "Oh, not this year, but in the next couple years, that team is
yep,
gonna be like the super team." They win it this year and they keep doing that. Like, you're looking again at Tim Duncan pop days. You're looking at that dynasty kind of again. And I know
yeah,
that's weird to say they haven't even won the first one yet. But again, this young team, and they're already right there and they're knocking on the door of an NBA championship. As you just said, one of the youngest teams since the 1950s. Like, dude, wow.
it's crazy.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
one of those things where what is it? Since 1976, what is it? They are the second youngest team just behind the 1976-1977 Trailblazers by zero point 0.2 years more average, and
Hmm.
that team was filled with 25-year-olds. So again, this is one of those things where you just go, this is not only a year early, but this could be just a decade defining run where obviously injuries and all that stuff matter, blah, 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 blah. But if Wembanyama can somehow stay relatively healthy, at least for the playoffs, like this is a team where not only is sky the limit for obviously this season where they could win the title, but sky's the limit for what again the next decade, the next 12 years. Like they're just going to be a perennial finals contender. Like it's just going to be again, you don't even have to keep this core together. You keep 3 or 4 guys, keep switching out the rotation players, and yeah, you're there. Yeah, because again, everybody says, "Oh, the Knicks are a great shooting team. They're a great rebounding team. They're a great what is it, assist team." In the regular season and the playoffs, the Spurs have been higher scoring team. They've had better field goal percentage. They've been a better rebound team. They've been a better assist team, better blocks team, better steal team. Not only that, they've been a better team in all those stats against higher competition. So
Yeah.
the
I mean,
Spurs
hell,
have
this could be
been
Spurs in 5.
this is like they're scoring more points. They've had more points scored against them. Their field goal percentage is dead in the middle. Obviously, the Spurs, we always hear about how good the Knicks are as a rebounding team with Cat, and yet the Spurs are better with Wemby and everybody else they have on their team. The bench depth has been one of those things where we just go, I don't know, Spurs might be their number one weakness. They have more points off the bench this season than the Knicks do. So you just look at every stat that matters and you just go, I again, what the Knicks did in the playoffs was impressive, and you only play who's on your schedule and who's in front of you. But again, you can say the same thing about the Spurs, and they beat some of the best teams, not just in the Western Conference, in the NBA to get to this spot right here. And again, I know people think it's corny, all that kind of stuff. The Knicks, after being like winning that series in the Eastern Conference Finals and being told you're going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999, and everybody's just like shaking each other's hands and being like, "Oh, this is cool. This is cool." That's great and all. If you want to do the narrative where you're just like they're just not acting like it means anything because job's not finished, all that kind of stuff. Great. If that's how you want to approach sports. I will be the other side where Spurs teams freaking out, Wemby's crying, they're celebrating like they're going to the NBA Finals. I like that. That's where I'm at, where I just go,
Dude,
that's nice.
you dedicated your entire life to it, man, and you're
That's
reaching
where
that
I'm at.
point. Like, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think it's cool. I like color me what is it? A nerd or a dork or
Dork.
whatever, but I like when players seem like they give a shit about the sport they play. Like
Yeah.
that's just me. I
That's not
like
just
rooting for
money
players
for him.
who yeah, I like players who actually feel like they give a shit about, I don't know, winning and playing the game they've dreamed about playing since they were a kid. Like it just seems, and again, Wemby, where Shea is hard to root for because of his style of play. How can you watch Wembanyama play and just be like, "Oh yeah, I don't like his style of play." The guy does everything.
He
He does.
literally does everything. That's
He
dude, I'll
he's a
tell you right now,
great.
if they can have a decade run, give or take a couple years, right? And he wins 3,
Mhm.
you gotta kind of possibly put him in that top 5 best players of all time already, right?
Yeah,
If he
I
can
mean,
win
just what he
4,
does offensively and
if he can win
defensively.
4 in his career, and he's already done things that has never been done. Unanimous defensive player of the year, right? That's a thing that he could do. He might hit the all-time rebound record eventually. Like I don't know, man. Like the sky's the limit for this guy. Most threes by a center or this or that. He has so much that he can get. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see his career. And, I don't want to be that person to say it, but I will, I guess, that he could surpass Jordan. He could surpass um, James, just depending, right? Like he
Yeah.
just has to have that kind of a career. And I think he can. As long as he stays healthy, he can do anything that those guys do.
Well, now on the flip side, let's talk about the Knicks because obviously the Spurs, it's Wembanyama, it's Castle, it's De'Aaron Fox, it's this young team that has just kind of had guys step up, step down, and then obviously all surrounded by great
Give
Wemby
me I
performances.
have to go. My mom, or I'll be right back. My mom just got here to watch the kids. And the
There you go.
dogs got out. I'll be right.
Yeah, Casino will be right back. What is it? It just, when you watch what this Knicks team has done, not only is it impressive, but obviously Jalen Brunson, I feel like this Knicks team is easy to root for. It's, as most teams in most sports, it's the fans of the team that make that team where you root against them. So it becomes one of those things where you go, I don't dislike really anybody on this Knicks team. I think Cat is a fun player. I think Jalen Brunson is one of my favorite players to watch in the league when it comes to just get a basket guys. It's the fans that where you just go, "Oh, I hate this team." Like Josh Hart again is one of those players that you hate when you're playing against him, but in the back of your head you just go, "Man, I wish that guy was on my team." Like just a shit talker, a shit stirrer, get a basket guy to an extent, but just one where when he steps on the court, the energy changes, right? Like I've already seen the things where it's like, man, how did Caruso become such a hated player during that Spurs Thunder series? And that's Hart and what is it? how am I blanking on his name? I literally just said it. Hart and the guy I just mentioned, who just name escaped me. But those are two guys where you go, I hate playing against them because of the energy they bring. And I would love if they played on my team. They would be my favorite player if they were on my team. And I hate that I have to play against them. That to me seems like Josh Hart in not only with this team, but what eventually is going to be this series that starts tonight. I just think defensively, I don't think this Knicks team can hang with the Spurs team. And I really think that's going to be the difference maker. Everybody can say, oh, bench scoring, rebounding. Obviously, Cat is a great rebounder. He's averaging only about one rebound less than what Wembanyama averages. So it becomes one of those things where if Cat can clog up the middle and just make it uncomfortable for Wembanyama, which again, he's not unstoppable. We saw multiple games against the Thunder where you just get him off his game. Now, again, they were kind of so aggressive with him defensively that it was borderline where it was just like, are you just allowed to just foul him nonstop during the game, hold his shoulders down, like kind of make it to where he's scared to jump because you're going for his legs and all that kind of stuff. They were doing, let's say, questionable tactics to make it so he was scared under the rim. Not scared, but I guess less effective under the rim. Now, I don't think the Knicks and Cat will play that way, but I do think it's one of those things where if Cat is just playing aggressive and just kind of making Wembanyama uncomfortable in the paint, maybe we do see more perimeter play, maybe even early on, just to kind of establish like what Casito was saying, where if we just see Wembanyama start from the line, maybe hit a couple threes and almost draw Cat in from the middle, then I feel like that changes the game. But if Cat and Wemby are just going at it in the paint for the entire game, obviously I like Wembanyama in that matchup, but we've seen that matchup before where you just go, oh, Wembanyama is annoyed. He's frustrated because he can't do what he wants to do in the middle. So I think the biggest matchup, because obviously you're going to have Brunson and whoever they put on him, maybe it's Castle, maybe it's Fox on the perimeter. You can't stop Jalen Brunson. He's going to get his points, right? The real key factor to this is if you can clog up the middle so Wembanyama gets frustrated and he kind of has to retreat to the perimeter, then it becomes a game on the Knicks side where you just go, are we going to try to keep Cat in the middle? Are we going to try to make him be a perimeter defender for Wembanyama on the outside? And I really do think that Cat has the potential to either be the biggest liability or like a finals MVP. I really think it becomes, and finals MVP in a sense where it's like, oh, he changed the game. Now, it's always finals MVP is like who scores the most points. So more likely it's going to be either Brunson or Wembanyama, but MVP in terms of Draymond Green, where you just go, oh, Draymond was the engine that made this team go both offensively and defensively, and the offense and defense kind of ran through this player. So I think if Cat has a Draymond Green-esque performance where it's like he might not on the stat sheet, the numbers aren't going to be pretty, but in terms of the impact of the game, it's going to be basically decided or lost this series by what Cat does. And not only what he does, but kind of what he establishes in this first game, where they just go, okay, how are we playing Wembanyama? How are we going to make it so he's uncomfortable? How are we going to make it so he potentially loses his cool? Because again, we love Wembanyama, but he is not this stone cold killer that just does this without emotion. He, as we saw,
he'll elbow you in the neck.
Yeah, as we saw in the last series, as we saw when they won the last series, this is a player that, for good or bad, plays with emotion. This is a player that, if you like a guy that's really excited when they win, that guy is also really pissed off when they lose. In terms,
he didn't do that press conference, man.
Yeah,
and he took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat for that,
and I mean, not rightfully so, but it's also one of those things where if you're gonna be a sore loser, like you have to take the criticism that comes along with that if you want to be praised as a, you know, quote unquote, I wouldn't say even sore winner, just as a winner that when you win the game, you're crying, hugging your teammates. Like the emotion's going to switch the other way as well. So the spread right now, it's 4.5 for this first game, which I feel again, I win last night's game for the Stanley Cup. The over under in that game was 5.5, which I was like, that is a lot. And then it hit that like halfway through the second period. So this is one of those games where you just go 4.5. The game is over under 217. So you're doing the math and you're just going, oh, they think this is going to be like a defensive battle. They don't think this is going to be game one Spurs Thunder that goes to double OT and it's, 140 to 139 or whatever. They think this first game is going to be a defensive battle. And if this series is a defensive battle, I really think that it's going to favor the Spurs because obviously they have the best defensive player in the league. So
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm also I agree with you. I'm picking Spurs in 6, but I do think that this series turns on if the Knicks can get one of the first 2 games because obviously they're coming into this series with the rest advantage. So if you want to obviously make a statement, you have to win game 1. But I honestly think if they even win game 2, and now all of a sudden the Spurs, we start getting the questions where it's just like, oh, have they played too high a competition, too much, too recently? That Thunder game, are they too banged up for? Did they use all their, emotion? Did they use all their tricks and stuff to just go through the Western Conference? And now they're kind of just spent. Like it becomes one of those things where I don't believe, because again, both these teams, Spurs have been to the finals 6 times, most recently 2014. Knicks have actually been 8 times, but the most recent one was 1999. So
you think that the Knicks have been so many more times, right? Which is how the New York Knicks playing Madison Square Garden, like, but
it's
maybe it just all changed when Godzilla laid eggs in there.
Oh, that's true. 1999. They never recovered. Was
that when it came out?
I think Godzilla did come out 99 or 2000.
I was 2000.
I was 10 years old when that movie came out. I was very excited to see it. And that movie is god awful. I've tried to rewatch it because my son, my 5-year-old, is really into Godzilla. So we rewatched it and I was like, this movie is worse than I remember.
1998.
Oh, 1998. So then, yeah, I was 8. So, yeah, rough.
So bad. It was so bad.
So when it comes to this series, game 1 tonight, I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be Spurs in 6. I agree with you. But again, Knicks, if they win game 1,
the Spurs can figure out, they can play different ways. I think is what's really important there is they can figure out different ways to hurt you. And that's where I think they'll get them.
Well, honestly, I honestly just think it comes down to Cat and Wembanyama. Whoever wins that matchup wins this series. I really think it's that simple.
I'll be honest. How comfortable Wemby has been shooting the 3. I mean, he's not afraid to jack it up, right? And his numbers they're not the best 3-point shooter in the league, but he can hit some. And we've seen that he can hit some clutch ones. So, if that's the thing, if they want to push him out and whatnot, he might have a shot, dude.
Yeah, but the craziest part is during the regular season, Cat was a 37% 3-point shooter. During the playoffs, he's almost been a 50% 3-point shooter, which is
but how much
crazy.
How much height has he been shooting over?
That's very true. Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
The Spurs are tall.
They're long. They're just long. Especially he's going to be. It's just going to be Cat and Wembanyama the whole game. So again, I really think Cat just has to kind of crash the boards and just do the let's just get messy in the paint kind of thing. I really think if he tries to do the perimeter game, I just don't think he can shoot over Wembanyama. We've seen worse, or we've seen better 3-point shooters that struggle that way. So I don't know. There you go. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it has a chance to be an all-time classic, but then again, we thought Spurs Thunder would be an all-time classic playoff series, and that series was awful. Yes, it went to 7 games. Game 7 was great, but the rest of the games were, it was like whoever took a 10-point lead at any point in the game just won. That was it. On the road, in the at home, that series was rough. But this one, hopefully it's as good as the Stanley Cup game one was last night, because that was fantastic. So now, Casino, we move to a little NBA, or a little NFL news before we get out of here. So how are you feeling 2 days into the AJ Brown experiment? Because the Eagles fans have not only completely turned against him, but are now actively wishing for his downfall. Just now actively wishing.
I'm Colby. My son's going to be playing with the light switch now. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I like his excitement. I like his energy there. He wants to be there, at least for now. He wants to be there, and if Vrabel can harness that like he did with Diggs and be like, keep this energy, keep this excitement, keep this belief in this team, we can go back. We can do this. We can make a run in the playoffs. If he's able to harness AJ Brown, pretty much that's what it comes down to. Can he reel him in? Keep him with that energy, but positive energy, right? I like his excitement, but it's gonna have to sustain. And I think Vrabel's the person to be able to keep him there, right? Keep him there. And I know when it comes to the quarterback situation, I know that him and Jalen Hurts were good buds and this and that, and things can change on a dime. But Jalen Hurts also doesn't show a lot of emotion. I mean, neither does Drake May. So I'm a little worried about that. I mean, Drake May can show some emotion when he needs to, but he's also a pretty relaxed dude. So hopefully he shows just enough for AJ to be like, yeah, all right, let's go. I believe in this kid. I like what he's saying, and I wonder if Drake May would have said something about the masseuse. I wonder.
Well, I saw this great clip of Drake May where was sitting on the bench during the Denver game, and he was talking to Josh McDaniels, and he's just like, man, this is really hard. Like, this is rough. And then Josh McDaniels like laughs, and he's like, yeah, it's supposed to be. And he's just like, gosh darn. And it's just like the most.
I saw that too, and but that's great. That's great, because he's a young kid, and that is coaching, man. That is coaching from Josh McDaniels to be like, and I have my criticism for him, but to be like, hey, bud, like, yeah, it is tough. It is tough, man. Let's do this.
Remember when the Celtics season ended from a sweep from the Sixers, and everybody was just like, man, I'll tell you what, Jaylen Brown, that guy's a genius. He just knows basketball. And like, everybody kept saying that, and then we said it on the show, and then I remember saying on the show, I don't know when this started, but it just became a thing where this is just a thing everybody started saying. And then he went on Twitch and was like bitching about weird stuff. And then everybody was like, why did we keep saying he was a genius? Like, why do we keep saying he was a genius apropos of nothing? Right? This is how I'm seguing that to say, this is how I feel about the AJ Brown thing, where it was like all the news came out where it was, oh man, he's beloved in that locker room. Like, the Eagles locker room loves him. And then the second he's out of town, every single player on the Eagles has basically just been like, thank God he's out of here. The number one quote that I keep going back to is the offensive lineman for the Eagles, Jordan Mailata, where when he was asked about it, this was his word for word take. He said, quote, yes, We can move on now. I think most of us have been here the last 6 weeks. We have moved on just from, we have had enough to worry about getting over last year and then coming in here and learning a new scheme and new concepts. Like, we had to press on. So that's what we're doing. I think this is more of a, it sounds terrible, but like, thank God it's over. It was a slow pain of just, is he in? Is he out? We didn't really know. And that really wasn't our focus as a team, our team, especially in offense. But we got to keep these wheels moving. We got new guys coming in. We got rookies coming in again. We got to build on that culture every year. Thank God it's over, unquote. So that when
Damn.
a star player on your team is like, thank God that guy's finally off our team so we can focus on the actual team. I feel like that says everything. That says everything you thought was going on behind the scenes. Because also, the thing we read on last episode, where it was the whole conspiracy theory thing, Brandon Graham, who's the defensive end that started the whole AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts like discourse almost 2 years ago to the day, where he was on a radio broadcast just being like, oh yeah, those guys don't get along. And that was the first time where it was like, wait a second, Jalen Hurts is like the godfather to AJ Brown's kids. AJ Brown and him are best friends. Like, Jalen Hurts was the reason that AJ Brown wanted to be an Eagle, all that kind of stuff. That was the first time where everybody was like, when did this change? And then for 2 years, it was kind of just like this mystery. While the quote unquote conspiracy theory we read last episode was posted on Instagram and was liked by Brandon Graham. So that becomes one of those things where you just go, I wonder. Also, I will say, I don't like Craig Carlson at all. Don't like him at all. There is a clip going around that I will try to find where he was also alluding to this story 2 years ago. So, what is it? What's his name? It's Carl Carlson, right? Carl, the bald guy. You know who I'm talking about? He had a show.
Yeah, something like
Carlson. Again, I don't like him, so I don't ever listen to his stuff, but I'll try to find it. It
He's not
was
Colin Coward, so I don't care.
let me see. It was
Big Colin guy right here. Big Colin guy.
I'll try to
The
find
only
it,
thing that I could agree with Colin's co-host J Mac was that he does not like SGA and his flopping. So tip my hat off to that guy for that.
Oh, Craig Carlson. Sorry, live show, folks. I should have had this
Live
pulled
show.
up.
You're good. I have to go. My kid's letting my dogs outside. I have to go and deal with that. That was fun.
I can't even find it. I wish I'll try to find that clip, but I won't waste any more time.
So I think I do think Vrabel, once Jaylen Brown once he has his mind made up on what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do. So he's been wanting to go back to Vrabel. He's been wanting to go to the Patriots and for over a year now. So I really do think that, it was just meant to be. We knew it was all happening. So,
Craig Carton. I kept saying Carlson. I was like, why is nothing popping up here? It's Craig Carton. Again, I don't watch him, but he said something 2 years ago. Hopefully now I can pull up the clip where he said it. It's just, so he said this, quote unquote, 2 years ago after the season ended. He said, and I quote, he knows the real reason for the Eagles' collapse last season. It's a problem that would splinter any group of men. It is a real significant problem and it cannot be fixed. I will tell you that. I'm not going to say anything more than that. It'll be very interesting to see if a high-profile player will be with them next season. And that was, again, 2 years ago, right after they went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs in the offseason before any of this A.J. Brown stuff happened. Now, this was a guy who was in New York, apparently had people inside the Eagles organization he was talking about. So it's one of those things where you just go, I don't know, like, again, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it just randomly one day was, he's my best friend, godfather to my child, to the next day just being like, I don't even consider him a person I will talk to ever again. There has to be something weird like what we heard. Now, I'm not saying from Wednesday's show it was that, but it wouldn't surprise me
Just have to
if it
ban
was.
all players to go to masseuses. Just ban it. Just ban it.
I'm kind of in that, or just make them all dudes. Make it all dudes masseuses.
Dude, they know how to get to those pressure points, man. They 100%. I went in for a massage one time, and it was a gentleman, and dude, I was like, I have knots in my shoulders, like right under my shoulder blades, upper shoulders, like my lower back, because I have bad lumbar. I'm like, that needs work. I felt amazing. Just get some dudes in there.
Now we will.
He knew how to take care of me at the end, because I mean, he just knows.
Yeah, they just know. I mean, it's better on someone else than on you, right? But last thing on, not the AJ Brown thing, but the other trade was Aaron Donald, who was traded, or I'm sorry, Myles Garrett, who was traded from the Browns to the Rams, has opened up the possibility, and I guess the rumor mill, of 35-year-old Aaron Donald, who has been retired for 2 years, apparently went on the McAfee show and said that the trade, quote, the trade for sure got me thinking. 35, removed 2 years ago. Got to see if that fire can light back up. So do you think now, with the addition of Myles Garrett, that we could see the return of Aaron Donald to play alongside him on a, 1-year deal? Let's just see if we can get this ring and all kind of retire, walking into the sunset.
If he comes, dude, they were already the favorite before this trade. Now they are definitely the favorite after this trade. You bring him back on board, bud. I mean, why even play the season? Why even play the season?
If they do not win when Aaron Donald comes out of retirement, they trade for Myles Garrett, I feel like something catastrophic will have happened.
Oh,
like
100%.
What would be the other reason for them not making the Super Bowl?
Their top three quarterbacks all go down with something.
Yeah, because again, Aaron Donald was kind of one of those guys that retired more like Brady than he did Manning, where he retired on top. He finished his last season with 8 sacks. And again, that's 8 sacks in games where he's double teamed every single play. So now you're going to have to be like, do we double team the reigning defensive player of the year, or do we double team the guy who's been retired for 2 years? I feel like this
used to be the defensive player of the year every year.
And yeah, I honestly think he should
playing
come
the best
back.
defensive player. You'll be playing the defensive player of the year for the last decade.
Yeah, what is it? He says if he can get that fire like burning again, I don't know how he doesn't just go one more year. I can do it one more year. Now, yes, the season's longer than it's ever been.
He's in private facilities right now, giving it a go, seeing what his body can do.
Yeah.
That he's doing that just so he can eventually be like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I know I can't do this. He's checking his body right now. I guarantee you that's what he's doing.
Yeah. It's
behind closed doors. He's back there and he's challenging himself for sure.
But if he even has just a little bit of inkling that he can still do it, which why wouldn't he? He's only been out of the league for 2 years. How do you not just go, I can do 1 year, sign a 1-year contract, couple mil, whatever they have left over, and just be like, let's get one more. Get one more. And again, Stafford, interesting how haven't seen the buzz about him being a member of a super team. I guess that's only a Jalen Hurts thing. Only a Hurts thing when he has a super team around him. Last thing before we get out of here, Casino. Falcons are signing wide receiver Drake London to a 4-year, $141 million
Too much.
extension.
Too much
worth
for
up
the
to
Falcons. Too much for the Falcons. Too much for the Falcons.
worth up to $150 million, including $100 million guaranteed.
Too much for the Falcons.
Dude, too much for a wide receiver. Dear Lord.
I mean, it's too much in general, but like that is too much for the Falcons. 100%.
Let's look at that is so the highest paid wide receivers in the league are now Jackson Smith and Jigba, who averages an annual cap hit of $42 million. That is insane. $42 million a year. Next is Jamar Chase at $40 million a year. And now
I would take both of them easily. Like, I don't know, dude. I can't think Drake London's worth that.
Well, now Drake London becomes the third highest paid wide receiver in the league. You kind of answer the question, but is he the third best wide receiver in the league?
No.
I would also say no. He's ahead of guys, again, only by a couple million. Or no, he's ahead of Justin Jefferson by 0.25 because Justin Jefferson gets paid $35 million a year. CeeDee Lamb gets paid $34 million a year. DK Metcalf gets paid $33 million a year.
Well, remember, we hated that Metcalf. We hated that Metcalf deal.
In retrospect, after a year of it, I hate it more. Like, there's no way he should be paid as the top 6 wide receiver in the league. There's no way.
No.
But I mean, shout out Drake London. I don't think the Falcons are going to be good this year. I think that team has a lot of wasted potential on offense, but I mean, he got paid. So good job, buddy. Good job. But hey, now he's got Tua throwing him the ball. So who knows? Who knows? On that note, Casino, anything else before we head out of here?
Tua is not going to even know his name. Tua's going to be like, that guy?
You know what? To use an AJ Brown Patriots quote to end this podcast, when I go on this podcast, this isn't heaven, but it's the closest thing to it.
So
he said that about being a Patriot.
I know.
What a fucking cornball. What a dork. What a dork. That's almost
just catch the balls.
That's almost as dorky as using your first video since becoming a Patriot to like do an ad or something. That's like that's on the level of dork.
Angie's list.
He should have teamed up with like one of those prayer apps I see all the time and just been like, this place, it's as close to heaven as you can get. But if you want to get closer to heaven, sign up for blah, blah, blah. Like that, just make everything a brand deal. I would actually respect him more.
ChristianMingles.com.
Yeah. But on that note, Casino, this has been the Only Sports Podcast. Anything to say before we get out of here?
No.
I will not be back on Friday to do a solo show. I will be seeing He-Man instead. So I'll tell you on Monday.
I'm very excited for that.
I'll tell you what, the first trailer for it, I was like, this looks god awful. The second trailer for that, I was like, I'm in. They got me.
Well,
they won
here's
me
the thing. Probably once every 3 years, I watch the old live action movie.
Never seen it. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I'm gonna watch it tonight, but it's so good. It's so bad.
I've never been a He-Man guy. Never been a He-Man
so bad,
guy.
But it's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
All right. Well, talk to you later.
Yeah, I'm Will. That's Casino over there. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. Adios.